What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Team Member Perspective Podcast Show. I'm Colter, your host, and life for me is about to change a little bit. For those of you that have followed me for a while or know me maybe a little bit more personally, know that I have a 4-year-old boy named Griffin, which is a blast, by the way. Being a dad is my most favorite thing in the world. Spending time with him, just seeing him grow, seeing him develop. It's so great. It's a lot of fun. There's nothing better. We're adding an addition to our family. My wife has been pregnant, but at the time that I'm recording this, she's 38 weeks. We're getting really close, which by the time that this comes out, we'll have a baby by then, a baby girl. Very excited. And, life is about to change for us. But again, being a parent, being a dad, it's very fulfilling. I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. And it's funny, having Griff in our lives for the last 4 years, I can't imagine life without him. He's such a fun little guy, and it's just the best thing in the world. And now we're getting a girl. My wife is over the moon. I'm extremely excited. The room's ready. We're ready to rock and roll. But by the time that this comes out, we will have her, and it's going to be wonderful. My wife, it's funny, when we first found out that we were pregnant with Griff, our first child, we don't really know what we're doing, right? You don't know what to expect until you have the kid. But I remember my wife, started to buy some clothes, started to get his room ready. But the preparation that she has put into this baby is at a whole new level. Maybe she wants to make things cuter and she cares a little bit more, but it's funny. Griff didn't get the treatment that our new baby girl is getting in regards to that, which is funny. But again, it's fun. We're both excited. We've kind of done it before. But again, we don't know what it's like to have 2 kids. We know what it's like to have 1 kid, but our lives are about to change. But we are extremely excited. We're ready. It's to that point of pregnancy where my wife, she's just extremely uncomfortable, not getting sleep. It's wild. It's a wild concept to really think through that she's literally creating a human. I think, it's just something you grow up with. Oh yeah, she's pregnant, they're having a baby. But until it's yours, until it's personal, it's actually a wild thing that can actually happen. It's crazy. And anyways, we're super excited, and I'm about to be a girl dad. So looking forward to that. In today's episode, I want to talk about a strategy that team members and agencies can run to write life insurance and disability insurance. And it's the mortgage protection strategy. We trained on this in our team member perspective group a few weeks ago, and it was incredible, absolutely incredible for us to hear from a top producing team member in Virginia, Christian, who is writing 20 plus life and health policies every month. It's fun to have him come on and teach us how he's doing it with people that have mortgages. So today I want to talk through that process, that for those of you that are part of our group, this is a good refresher, but also for those of you that may not be part of our group, this process works. As long as you go out and work it, it absolutely works. My hope today is that I can break it down in a simple way so that you can just take it and plug it into your agency and start writing more financial services. So I've got 6 steps to this mortgage protection play that will allow us to start proactively working instead of just relying on our customers to call in to add a home or replace a home or whatever that is. But this is a proactive strategy that we can use in our agencies to go out and make it happen. So there's 6 steps. And I'm going to run through them quickly here. The first step, run a list of all of the homeowners policies on your book. Got the list? We have people to call. Okay. Second step, make a weekly time block on your calendar to make these calls. The reason I say that is if you are not intentional with your time, if you don't make time, you're not going to find it. So in order for this to work, make it work. Make sure that you're setting aside time to do this. Third step, call to set the appointment. This strategy for people that have homeowners policies with you, we have found as team members that have ran this play and found success, that setting an appointment is a really good approach with this. And so with that appointment, first try to get them in the office. Getting people face to face is by far one of the most effective ways to sell insurance, because instead of just hearing their tonality over the phone, we also get to see their body language. We get to see how they're receiving the information that we're giving them. Okay, so set the appointment. If you can do it in the office, get them in the office. If not, virtually is good. It's a good option. You have options to set up a virtual call where you can still see them. Or if you can't even get that, then a phone call can still work as long as you do this effectively. Okay, so that's the third step. You got to set the appointment. Then the fourth step is running the appointment itself. So what we're going to do in this step is we're going to review the homeowner's policy first, right? Make sure that the customer understands what coverages they have, what they don't have, and make sure it's up to date. The next part of the appointment is we want to educate them on getting life insurance to pay off the mortgage if anything happens, and getting disability insurance to make monthly payments if they were to get sick or hurt and out of work, okay? And when we're talking to our customers about getting life insurance to pay off the mortgage, getting disability insurance to make the monthly payment, we want to help them understand the problem that they face, the current risks that they face by having this mortgage. We then want to educate them on the solutions to those risks that we can help them with and help them understand the benefits to going through with our solutions. This is our sales presentation. This is where the selling happens. And you get good at sales presentations with practice, right? If you want to be compelling, practice this. Practice your sales presentation. Tell stories. Tell stories of how they demonstrate why this stuff is so important to them. And a lot of part of the presentation here is helping the customers understand and see the risk, the potential risk that they face. People, if they knew that they had a problem, they would probably already have it solved, or they would have taken the steps to start and actually get to a point where it can be solved. But the issue is, especially in the insurance space, people just don't know that they have problems. They don't know that they have these risks. People don't think about insurance in that way. Generally, people think about insurance in this way. I've got a loan on my car. I'm required to have insurance. I'm driving on the road. I am required to have insurance. I have a mortgage on my home. I am required to have insurance. People aren't thinking about the coverages. They're not thinking about the benefits. They're really only thinking about insurance as something that they're obligated to have. So they don't know about these problems. They don't know about these risks. And so it's our job to effectively communicate what the problems are, what the risks are, and then help them see that we can help them with a solution and why it's important to go through with the solution. What's in it for me? That's what your customers are thinking. Okay, so that's our presentation or the appointment itself. Step number 5 is after you've done that, after you've built value and helped them understand the risk, the solution, and the benefits, now it's time to give them the quote. Okay, quote them. Regardless if you run into objections throughout your presentation, you can always say this. You know what? I understand that, but I'm going to quote you this where you do have a mortgage, and you can tell me what you think. That is an easy way to move through objections. I am going to quote you this, and you can tell me what you think. We're not asking them permission if we can quote them this, because if we do ask permission, what's a likely answer? No, I just want the homeowner's insurance. I'm just good with the homeowner's insurance. We don't want to be in that position. Because all of a sudden, the control is now in the hands of the prospect or the customer. We've lost control. And so to maintain control and to position ourselves as the experts, we're not going to ask permission. But we're going to say that we are going to quote them this because they have a mortgage, like there's your reason, but then we remove the sales pressure. You can tell me what you think. It's a very effective way to move through premature objections, but also ensure that you are giving yourself the best shot at winning and giving them a quote. And there's a statistic that people overestimate the cost of life insurance by about 80%, which means they are thinking that a coverage, a death benefit in the amount to pay off a mortgage is going to be a lot more expensive than it actually is. So if you do a good job at your sales presentation, which requires practice, by the way, to get good, if you can build enough value in your sales presentation, when you quote the price, a lot of times you can get the deal because of the value you've built. The value outweighs the cost. That's when you know you're getting good at your sales presentation. That's when the selling actually happens. So for a quote to be effective, your sales presentation needs to be effective. After we quote, a lot of the times customers are going to be ready to go. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, let's do it. Just jump into the application, stop talking, and move the sell forward. Start gathering information, start filling out the application with the customer. Assume that they're doing it because they haven't told you no, or they've told you, okay, yes, let's move forward. There's so many times that I hear team members talking themselves out of sales. It's easy that when we get excited, we might get a little bit nervous because they've said yes or they haven't told us no. It's easy to overtalk, over-explain, And if you think about it, if someone's over explaining to you after you've told them yes, they might be going into a lot more detail than you actually need. It starts to kind of feel a little overwhelming. It starts to go from a simple thing to more of a complex thing. And we know that a confused mind does not buy. And so keep it simple. If they tell you yes, or if they don't tell you no, go for the sell. Complete the applications. Stop talking. Don't talk yourself out of sales. The sixth step is if you run into an objection after you give them a quote, you can do an option close. Because here's the cool thing. You've quoted them 2 policies if you're running with this strategy. A life policy to pay off the mortgage and a disability policy to make the monthly payments. And so you can use an option close. If they say, oh, I'm good, or, oh, that seems too expensive for me, I can't afford it, or whatever objection they give you, doesn't really matter. You can use an option close, which is why I love this. Ask them, you want to do the life insurance or you want to do the disability insurance? Obviously, we need to keep the homeowner's insurance, Mr. Customer. But of these other 2 coverages that I've talked to you about today, where 1, there's coverage in place that would pay off your home if, heaven forbid, anything terrible happened to you or your spouse. Or 2, there's coverage in place that comes in and makes the monthly mortgage payment if either you or your spouse were to get sick or hurt, you were to be out of work. Of those 2 coverages, which one do you feel like makes the most sense for you right now? That's an option close. So you get an objection, but then you say, look, we need the homeowner's insurance, but of these other 2 coverages, which one do you feel like makes the most sense for you right now? Now, even if they told you no, if they don't want to do any of those, I would suggest still going with that option close. It's a very upfront way to do it, and they're going to have to tell you no again. So it's just strategy and it works, okay? And I said that there were 6 steps. I'm actually throwing in 7. That was kind of a bonus step there of that option close. But the last step is follow-up. You're not going to sell every single appointment that you hold. People are going to want to talk to their spouse. They're going to want to think through it. Maybe it's just not the right time. Whatever it is, a lot of people aren't going to buy right then and there. So follow up. Now, if you're not following up or you're not following up effectively, you are leaving a lot of money on the table. You are leaving a lot of people unprotected. So follow up. The fortune is in the follow-up. Now, I'm going to run through a couple pro tips with this process. The first one is this. When you run a list of your homeowner's policies, I mean, you can run a list of all of them and it works, but I personally like a reason to call my customers. And I have found that if I can run a list of all of the homeowner's policies renewing this month or next month, that gives me a good reason to call when I call to set the appointment. Your home is renewing this month. Your homeowner is renewing next month, and I need to meet with you. There's a reason, okay? So I like that. Second tip, you will not find time to run this play. You've got to make it. If you are not intentional with your time, you're not going to find it. If you don't control your day is going to control you. I think you guys get the point. Next thing, appointments are best in person. So do what you can to get them in the office. Now, when you're setting the appointment, you've got to think at the frequency of your customer. What channel are they tuned into? If they're listening to the radio. Well, it's WIIFM. What's in it for me? Give your customers a reason to come into the office. Can't just expect to call them and say, hey, we need to meet with you. Take it a step further and give them a reason to come into the office. Think about creating curiosity, creating urgency, talking about coverage concerns, discounts. Those are things that give customers a reason to actually take action to come into the office or to agree to do an appointment. Now, our customers, if you're in the P&C business and your customers know you for the auto and the fire policies that you write, the auto and the home, then this mortgage protection play is a very logical way to talk about life and disability insurance. They already know you for the home and auto. And so if we can keep the life and the health coverage complementary to the home and auto, it's very logical. Not only for us, but also for our customers. So it's an easy transition that's smooth and logical, and it's not a harsh redirection because they know us for the auto and the home. During the appointment, do your best to build rapport. Get to a friend-to-friend conversation. You want to get away from them viewing you as a salesperson, and you want to get closer to them viewing you as a friend, right? And I think them viewing you as an educator, an advisor, is also a great way to look at that, right? But you want to get away from being a salesperson. You want to get to that friend, educator, advisor. So the way you do that is you build rapport with them. Be normal, be human. Don't come off across as a robot. Many of you are probably utilizing scripts. Scripts are great, so you know where to go next, but be human. Don't be afraid to deter from the script for a minute. to build some rapport and then come back. Get the customer's guard down if you want to be a top producer in this business. Tailor the coverages to each specific customer. Everybody's situation is different. So it's up to you to tailor it, customize it, make it fit them and their life and their mold. And you will find a lot of success doing that. The actual selling happens in your sales presentation. And I know I talked about that, but I've got to come back to it. So get really good at your sales presentation. Find a way to be convincing, be compelling. And the way we do that is a lot of the times is in our communication. Are you engaging your customers when you're talking to them, or are you just boring them to death? There's just some skills that we can develop, but be compelling in your presentation. The way to do that is to practice. That's why we have the team member perspective group, is for team members to come on a consistent basis and practice and get better and develop these skills. Because if we can just get 1% better at our conversations and we keep that quantity really high and we're having a lot of conversations and our action is high, if we can just get better, 1% better each week, we're going to write a heck of a lot more policies. We're going to be a lot more efficient in what we're doing, and you're going to make more money and you're going to be more fulfilled. Okay. So come join us. That is what this group is designed for. And when you are quoting, keep it super simple. I like to quote one price because it's simple. All right. Let's say that your customer did not buy right then and there from you in that appointment, but that you might need to be following up with them. Number one, don't forget your follow-ups. The fortune is in the follow-up. We are in a follow-up business. But number two, don't just call your customers and say, hey, Coulter, I'm just calling to see, I'm just following up with you on the mortgage protection. Don't do that. You might as well just say, hey, Coulter, I'm calling to sell you on the mortgage protection. People don't want to be sold. They like to buy, but they don't want to be sold. So instead of doing that, provide value in your follow-ups. In your follow-ups, you're going to more than likely, what I would recommend is to recap your sales presentation that you did with them. Remind them why you recommend mortgage protection. Help them remember, specific to their situation, why we recommend doing it in the first place. Help them remember the benefits, because they're not thinking about those things when you call them. They're not remembering that conversation that you had with them a week ago. They are busy. They've got so much going on in their lives that they're not remembering the benefits. So help them remember the benefits. People buy off of benefits. They're not buying off the features. They don't care about mortgage protection, but they do care that their home will be paid off for their family if they were to pass away prematurely. That way their family, they don't have to have a financial burden. They don't have to sell the home out of necessity, but they can stay in the house. That's what they care about. That's the benefit. That's what they care about. They don't care about the features. So in your follow-ups, find a way to provide value. Don't just call them and say, hey, I'm just following up with you. And the last thing I'll say is this: your confidence and belief matter tremendously. Your confidence in yourself, confidence in your company to deliver, confidence in the policies that you're selling, and your belief in yourself and belief in the products that you are selling matter tremendously. You are either in a sales conversation, you are either going to communicate some sort of conviction and belief to your customer, or you're going to communicate some sort of doubt to your customer. Your confidence and belief, that's where it all starts. The way you're saying things, how you're saying them, it all matters. So be confident in your approach and develop a belief in yourself and in your product. And this is something that you're not going to get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm 100% confident in this and in myself, and I believe 100% in myself and in this product. You're not going to get there. It's an ongoing thing. You've got to ask yourself, instead of, do I believe in the product? Do I believe in myself? Instead of asking that, it's how much or to what extent do I believe in myself? To what extent do I believe in the product? To what extent am I confident in myself? To what extent am I confident in my company and the products that we provide? And find ways to strengthen that belief to further develop your confidence, because that matters tremendously. You could say everything exactly how top producers say it and still not find results. If you're there, evaluate your delivery, evaluate how you're sounding, how it's being received. And really, guys, the only way to know how to do that is to ask your customers, hey, why didn't you buy from me today? Which might be a little bit difficult for a lot of us to do. But an easier way to do it is just come and join the team member perspective. Get feedback from top producers across the country. There are people that are consistently writing 10 to 15 life insurance applications every single month. And they're putting up 10,000 plus in premium. Get around those people. Learn from them. Practice with them. If you're thinking like, how do I do that? Well, the answer's simple. Come join us at the Team Member Perspective. If you're a team member listening to this and you feel like this might be something that could help you, talk with your agent. Have them reach out. Right? No strings attached. Whether you join us or not, it's completely up to you. But isn't it worth a shot? If you're an agent, reach out. Ask us a little bit about what we do. See if it would be a good fit for you. Because I'm telling you, it's seemed to be a good fit for hundreds of agencies across the country. We're getting results. We get into the details and we care about your success and we're committed to that and we don't take it lightly. So again, I hope this has been helpful. Mortgage protection is huge. It's very, very effective. It works if we work it. So appreciate you guys, and we will catch you in the next episode.